Charlie Kirk's death and the fire at the German parliament in 1933 have a lot in common. Let me explain. Let's start with the fire in 1933. 1 month after coming into power, Hitler sees that his ability to implement his worst policies is still being prevented by the opposition party and the courts. So Hitler starts looking for an excuse to consolidate more power. And here comes the fire. On February 23, 1933, the fire at Germany's parliament gave Hitler the excuse he was looking for. As soon as Hitler arrived at the scene, and without proof of who had caused the fire, he blamed the communists, and as a result, he arrested over 100,000 political opponents in 1933 alone, including all of the communist representatives in parliament. After these arrests, Hitler called for an emergency election on March 5th. It was framed as a free election, but there were consistent threats against voting for the Communist Party, leaving the Nazi Party as the only choice. This severely crippled communist participation in the March 5th elections. After the election, the absence of the Communist Party allowed the Nazi Party to expand its power in parliament and become a single-party state. Now jump to yesterday, September 10th, 2025. Trump is president. He has been consolidating power, but is still finding resistance from the courts and the opposition, in this case, Democrats. And here comes Charlie Kirk's death. And without proof or a suspect in custody, Trump blames it on the Democrats. Other Republicans are calling for attacks, arrests, prosecution against the Democrats, and even civil war. But notice how Republicans didn't have that same energy after the political murder of Democratic lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, because the shooter was a Trump supporter against Democrats. They say Democrats or the radical left is the enemy, but they mean anyone who isn't with them. And if Republicans win in having Democrats jailed or making people afraid of being Democrats, unfortunately, gerrymandered maps will be the least of our concerns. Just like we saw in Germany circa 1933, Republicans are pushing for the US to become a one-party state. And based on the rhetoric just in the last day, it seems like they're willing to do it by any means necessary.